So, if you're expecting, chances are you're in that full-on nesting mode, right? Getting everything absolutely spotless for the new arrival. But that usually brings up a really important question. Are all these cleaning products actually safe for you and your baby? It's a super common concern. So today, we're going to break it all down. Let's dive in.
And this is really the big question, isn't it? I mean, from dish soap to bleach, you're surrounded by these chemicals every day. So is it okay to use them when you're pregnant? It's such a valid worry, and getting a clear answer is just key for your peace of mind.
Well, here's the good news right off the bat. For the most part, yes, they're safe. The crucial point here, and we're going to come back to this, is that the real secret isn't avoiding cleaners altogether. It's just using them in moderation. So your normal everyday use, it's not something to panic about.
Okay, so that brings us to our first key area. The conversation really isn't about whether cleaners are good or bad, it's about quantity. The real risk, if there is one, comes from going way overboard. So what does excess actually look like? A study actually looked into this exact question, and they focused specifically on pregnant women who were using cleaning products to an excessive degree. We're talking way, way more than the average person. So what did they find when they zeroed in on this high-usage group? They came up with this number, 29%. Now, I know seeing a number like that just pop up can feel a little alarming, but context is everything here. So what does this 29% actually refer to?
Okay, what's really interesting here is how we break down that number. The study suggested up to a 29% increased risk of the child developing eczema or asthma. But, and these are really critical buts, this was only linked to excessive use, not your daily kitchen wipe down. And it's also really important to note that this one study isn't universally accepted by all doctors. So the key takeaway, even in the most extreme cases, the risk is very specific, and it's definitely not a foregone conclusion. So far, we've been talking about risks to the baby, but we also need to think about you. I mean, pregnancy changes your body in some pretty fundamental ways, and that can make you react differently to the world around you, including the products you use every day. This chart really illustrates the change perfectly. Your immune system, it naturally lowers itself during pregnancy to make room for the baby, and your skin can become so much more sensitive. So what's the result? Well, your body might have a much stronger reaction to chemicals that never ever bothered you before, just because its natural defenses have been recalibrated. So what can you do to protect yourself? The best part is, this doesn't require any huge, drastic changes. The solutions are actually simple, they're practical, and they give you control over your environment. Let's take a look. Here are 3 golden rules for safe cleaning during pregnancy. First up, wear gloves. This creates a super simple barrier to protect your more sensitive skin. Second, think about using a mask if you're working with something that has strong fumes, like bleach or oven cleaner, just to avoid breathing it in. And third, always ventilate. Open a window, turn on a fan. This just disperses the chemicals in the air so they don't get too concentrated. Simple, right? Okay, here's a question that comes up a lot. You drop your clothes off at the dry cleaner, they come back looking perfect. But what about the chemicals they use to get them that way? The thing is, the chemicals used in a lot of traditional dry cleaning can be pretty harsh, and they can linger on the fabric, and your skin can actually absorb them. But again, the solution is incredibly simple. When you bring those clothes home, just don't put them on right away. Hang them up in a well-ventilated room or even outside for maybe half an hour. That just gives the chemicals time to evaporate, and then you're good to go. You know, this whole discussion really boils down to one powerful central idea, and it applies to so much more than just cleaning. It's the principle of moderation, or you could just call it balance. There's an old saying that captures this just perfectly. Being clean is wonderful, right? It's healthy, it's important, but it is totally possible to have too much of a good thing. Sometimes, when we push for things to be perfectly sterile, we can actually do more harm than good. To really get this, let's look at a fascinating example that's with you all the time, the bacteria that's living on your own skin. It might sound a little strange, but not all bacteria are the bad guys. Just look at this comparison. Your skin has harmful bacteria that can cause illness. And yeah, regular soap does a great job of washing that away. But it's also home to beneficial bacteria that literally form a protective shield. The problem is, when we overuse harsh antibacterial soaps, we don't just kill the bad guys. We wipe out our natural defenders too. And this can actually leave our skin even more vulnerable. And that, right there, is the principle of balance in a nutshell. The goal isn't to create some sterile, chemical-free bubble. It's about using tools like soap and cleaners wisely. Just enough to remove the genuine threats, but not so much that we strip away the natural systems that are already working to protect us. It's all about working with your body, not against it. Which kind of leaves us with this final thought. In our quest for perfect cleanliness, could we actually be going too far? This all shows that when it comes to your health, especially during pregnancy, the smartest approach isn't always about more, it's about balance. Thanks for joining me.